Hello and welcome to another Liberty Minute, this time brought to you with the help of free speech-loving ExpressVPN, your #1 VPN to protect your privacy online without sacrificing speed. To get 3 months free, use my link down in the description. The Labor Department released a report this week on the total number of job openings in the U.S., which showed record-breaking numbers higher than any time since the department began reporting on the data. The numbers in the report are for April, but showed that there were nearly 9.3 million job openings in the U.S. The biggest gaps were seen, of course, in accommodation and food services. While the gap between the number of unemployed people and the number of job openings closed slightly, 1 in every 3 job openings was left open, and the number of people quitting their jobs also hit record numbers of almost 4 million. A White House official blamed business owners for this discrepancy. Kamala Harris came under internet fire on Tuesday after she appeared on NBC News and claimed that she and President Biden have both been to the border to monitor the crisis in person. Even NBC's Lester Holt pointed out that she has not, in fact, been to the border, to which she responded,
"We've been to the border. We've been to the border."
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
Demonstrating her impeccable ability to laugh at questions she doesn't want to answer. Harris is supposed to be Biden's point person on the border crisis, while border crossings are at a record high. And she laughed and compared it to going to Europe? Frankly, I don't understand the point that she's making, except that she's a dodgy politician. She did, however, take her first trip abroad this week and chose Guatemala as her destination. There, she laid out various proposals for foreign aid and anti-corruption initiatives, but also flat out told the people of Guatemala not to come to the U.S. or else they would be turned away, which is basically the opposite of what she campaigned on and pretty much echoed what Donald Trump said during his presidency. The headlines are, of course, much kinder though, as this time it's the blue team saying it. Also on Tuesday, the New York Times published an article claiming that police had discovered a watermelon field on Mars. The Times issued a retraction about an hour later, stating that it had been a mock article meant to test their system and was not actually supposed to be published. But a columnist for the Times did appear on MSNBC's Morning Joe this week and did, in all seriousness, talk about being disturbed by seeing people flying American flags on their pickup trucks on Memorial Day weekend. She stated that it was proof that Trump voters define Americanness as whiteness, and that America needs to separate itself from whiteness. She complained that, quote, "a large percentage of the American population continues to believe that their rights as citizens are under threat by simple virtue of having to share the democracy with others." She was referring to Trump voters feeling that they were losing their rights because Biden was elected, and not Hillary voters thinking that they were losing their rights when Trump got elected. Those things are two totally different things, and according to her, only one of them is racist. She stated that the only way to fix this was to view Trump voters as a threat and just ram through Democratic policies to marginalize them and force them to, quote, "get on board with democracy." Lulz. Meanwhile, Biden released his $6 trillion budget proposal, which includes $200 million exclusively for improving outcomes in maternity care, as the U.S. does have the highest maternal and infant mortality rate in the developed world, which many researchers attribute to the overuse of medical interventions, but that part is neither here nor there. The important part is that this part of the budget is supposed to be all about mothers, but chooses instead to call them birthing people. The purpose of the change from the word mother is, according to progressives, to foster feelings of inclusivity among non-binary people and transgendered men. The US has been hit by yet another ransomware attack, though this time it targeted members of Congress. At least 60 members from both parties were hit by the attack and are completely unable to access their data. The Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, which handles IT for the House, said that there's no impact on overall House data. The attack was made via a vendor called iConstituent, which many lawmakers use for their email campaigns. While it's not yet clear who exactly is behind the attack, the government is blaming Russia. Biden will be meeting Putin face-to-face next week in Geneva, and it is sure to be hilarious. And speaking of hilarious, anti-gun and Twitter feminist Alyssa Milano is reportedly considering running for Congress. She would be running against Republican Representative Tom McClintock, and told The Hill that she is confident she could flip the seat blue. She says the run will depend on whether or not she gets any new acting projects, but states that it's part of her 10-year plan. Those are your latest news headlines in about 5 minutes. If you liked this video, please check out my channel for other videos to dedicated Liberty topics, as well as my weekly live streams that run every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.